Are you there? Hey, Lisa, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up, Lisa. Joe, are you there? Somebody tell me you can hear me. I'm not much of a live person, so I'm trying to figure it always out. I get comfortable here. Mel, can you hear me? Somebody give me a thumbs up like you can hear me. Okay. Well, let's get started, man. We got some. John, Terry, good to see you guys. What's going on? Um, I we had an election last night in the U.S. and I thought we'd talk some politics today. Who wants to talk politics, right? Let's do it. Let's get into it. Um, Mandami, did I say it right? Donnie, I think he won the mayor election in New York, in New York City. My son lives there, so and I live in the state of New York, so it's kind of a big to do, and of course it made national politics and stuff like that. And I had a couple of thoughts about politics, and I wanted to kind of bounce them off of you guys. Um, if you voted or you care about who won, put your comments. I'll read them out. We can talk about that. But a couple of things. You know how you're not supposed to talk politics, right? It's kind of uncouth to talk politics. You're not supposed to talk about religion or politics. And somehow all of our conversations get into this world of the weather. It's so boring. And I don't think that that's really the right way to look at it. I do think we should talk politics. So let me first give you my idea of politics real quickly here. Um, we put politics in this big umbrella of things. Um, but for me, there's like the elections, the campaigning and stuff like that. That's one aspect of politics. Then I think the next part of it is maybe politicking, like trying to get a law passed. Then there's like the legislation itself, which is a form of politics, like should minimum wage be a law or something like that. And then there's economics, which is my favorite subject to talk about um, the outcomes of politics. That's what I went to school for and stuff like that. Yeah, so Terry, I agree with you. I think you can talk politics as long as you remain civil, and that's what I'm trying to do today here. So when I talk about politics, when I think about that concept of politics, I kind of break it up into all those buckets. Sometimes when you talk about, like, let's say, should Uber drivers get a minimum wage, people will call that politics. And I don't know, maybe, but I think it's important for us to talk about these things. I think we can't back off of them just because somebody might get offended. But I think, Terry, to your point, there is a way to be civil about it. And on top of it, we are, at least in the US, a nation that, has a voting type of thing. We vote, and so we should talk about it. I mean, that civil discourse, that debate helps us become informed citizens and make better decisions on who should be elected. Let's see here. I have F2 FWB, but I made it clear that both I'm not dating. I don't know what the other is cheating. I don't know what that means, Dr. Mantis, but I'm going to give it to you. I don't know what F2 FWB is. That a I don't know. Now, okay. Now, what can we take away from this as Uber drivers? That's the thing I really want to get into, um, because I think a lot of times our passengers do want to talk about politics or things that we may disagree with. Um, And that's, yeah, so a good example. Let's take it out of politics for a second. When passengers get in my car, I have a Tesla, and they want to get in my Tesla and tell me how much they hate Elon Musk or they hate Tesla or whatever it might be. How do we handle that? So if somebody were to get in my car and tell me all about how Donald Trump is saving America or how Donnie is saving America or whatever, you, sometimes we don't agree with the stance that our passengers are taking. But to Terry's point, we have to be civil about it. And especially we work in the service world. I want to earn a tip, but I don't want to necessarily agree and just be passive about it. Just go like, oh yeah, yeah, sure, Donald Trump, or yeah, sure, Mondami, or whatever. I think that's an intellectually lazy way of handling it. So I want to hear your thoughts on how to handle the situation, but I'm going to tell you mine, and then we'll go through your chat on how to handle the situation. So let's just say you are a Trump supporter, and a person gets in your car and supports Mom Donnie. I'm going to mess up his name. I got to get it right. Trump is like one whatever. Um, one syllable. Okay. Uh, The How do you handle that situation? Now, the way I handle it is I want to learn. That's the way I handle it. So let's say I'm the Trump supporter, I'm the Uber driver, and my passenger supports socialist policies or whatever, hates Donald Trump, hates Elon Musk, and they get in my car and they really want. And now look at me. I'm a white male. So I'm a white Christian, heterosexual, monogamous male. So people already pigeonhole me into who I vote for, right? And they've already got this stereotype of who I am. And I drive a Tesla, et cetera, et cetera. So they want to kind of get in that car and be a little bit confrontational. Like, why would you drive this car? Why would you vote for Trump? Why would you? And again, you can put it in any. I'm not trying to pick a party here or a policy or even a person. I'm just saying, yeah, how do we handle that situation? And for me, I try to listen and learn and give them the benefit of the doubt. No matter how like upset they might actually be, I want to hear what they have to say because that's how I learn. I don't have to agree with them. I don't have to go, oh yeah, you're right, et cetera, et cetera. I think sometimes it's just like, they'll get in the car, and they want to spout their political opinion. Trump is the best president ever. And I think, how do you handle that? I'll go something like, yeah, well, why is he the best president ever? Tell me why. And or and I'm not, and that's not even like I don't want to make it like I'm challenging them either. It's kind of like, that's really good to know. Why are you so passionate about this? Um, what policy are you really excited about? And and it can be for any political or even difficult conversation to some extent. Instead of trying to project my own emotions and feelings and beliefs into the conversation, I feel as an adult, I learn more by just listening to other people. And sometimes I'm persuaded. I could be persuaded that Teslas aren't the best car in the world. Maybe. They are. Um, you know, but that 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 our ability as adults, as Uber drivers, to just be good listeners basically makes our job better instead of trying to persuade somebody that we're right. I think that's one of the problems. The reason why people don't like politics or talking politics is because they don't like the argument, the I'm right, you're wrong kind of conversation. And I think that's what we have to avoid in our business and our industry as service workers, is trying to prove I'm right. It, Again, we're talking politics or whatever. You can imagine like a person getting in my car telling me how horrible the Tesla is. All right, that's fine. You know, I can tell you how great the Tesla is and try to make a compelling case for the Tesla. But why? Just tell me why you hate the Tesla and then let them have it out. Once somebody is heard and they know that you're listening to them, only then do you have permission to some extent, maybe make a counterpoint. And when you make that counterpoint, you don't have to make it in a way that says, you're wrong, I'm right. Uh, Hudat says that he's a really big Trump supporter. There you go. There you go. That's good. You should be. That's good. And then Brody says, unless you got an African Uber driver, they got to talk your damn about my. Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of the immigrant drivers that English is their second language, definitely like Mandami. God, I'm gonna just mess that up. How do I say it? Mom. I think it's Mom Donnie, right? Mom Donnie. God, I got to get better at that. So there's that one part of politics. And again, tell me how you handle these situations. Somebody says, I don't talk politics. I get that. Repeat what they hear. That's right. That's a good active listening. And I think you got to do it, Hudat, in a way that is not condescending. There's a fine balance, right? So when somebody says, I hate Trump and he's the spawn of the devil, you could be like, you know, do you hate Trump? Or you could be something like, so you really dislike Trump. Well, why? Um, why get better at that name? Well, why should, because it's polite to say people's names correctly. That's why, John. Get out of my vehicle, bye. Um, but I think there's another lesson to be learned about American politics. So there's kind of like this idea of like we should talk politics, but be better listeners, and in our field, um, find ways to have a good way to listen to passengers to let them tell you what they feel, and then only then do you have permission in a world of political discourse to some extent to maybe make a compelling argument against maybe the position that they're taking. And I think that's okay. I've had many, many political conversations in my car. I've voted for Biden and I voted for Trump. A lot of times I play like a neutral person just to hear more of the conversation. And I think it's definitely earned me some tips, if not respect. But I think here's the really interesting thing. Pay attention to this. Who's winning elections? I'm just going to pick these two people out, maybe a couple others, but Mamdani, Trump, AOC. Let's see here. Who else is out there? Um, you can tell I don't really follow politics that much. But I think most politicians are really, really good at communicating. I think most politicians are charismatic people, um, and that matters. And that matters for you and me as drivers. This is this is this is something I've been thinking about the last few days. Um, and so I want to see if I can say this correctly here because I'm going live, and this is so it's not a scripted out video where I have a chance to really flesh my thought out here. One of the things I take a lot of pride in as an Uber driver is earning more tips. And I think there's a couple of ways you can do that. I think there's the basics, having a clean car, etc. I think the other thing you can do is picking trips that you think will tip, like going to the airport or five-star passengers and things like that. But, most of the times people get in my car, they're just going to and from places and they're not a five-star passenger or whatever. It's the middle of the day. And how do you still earn a tip? And you and I kind of know it's that human connection, that ability to um, have a healthy, fun kind of conversation, whatever it might be. R.I.P. Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney died yesterday. I saw that. Maybe there's a guy that doesn't have charisma. But so the politicians that are winning elections, Trump and Mamdani, have a lot of charisma. They really understand. Get that sun out. It was so cloudy and now it's sunny. Really understand social media, how to communicate. They're big personalities, and I think that's something that if we were to watch them and study them, not as it's not watch and learn from them, not as what their policies are or whatever, but watch and learn from big charismatic personalities how they talk. I'm going to go back and kind of talk about Trump here for a second. Yeah, definitely, John. It also helps that they're populist. That does help. But let's talk about Trump here for a second. Um, I think I don't know Trump from here nor there, but the people that have met him and like gone to meetings with him or dinner with him or met him in person, they always come back with this kind of thing like he's larger than life. He's a big personality, and he really wants to have communicate with you, which is weird because when you see him on stage, I feel like he's acting a little bit, but when people that meet with him one on one are always impressed, and that's a like they feel like they know him and like he knows them and stuff like that. There's like this a really good human connection. And the interesting thing about Donald Trump that again that people say is good about him in terms of the way he communicates is that he's a really good listener. Like he understands what you want. Now again, I don't know from here or there. Um, and again, I'm not defending his policies or telling you should vote for the guy. But just think about people in our lives that are like that. And how can we, as Uber drivers, do that same thing with our passengers in the back seat? Like, truly understand the position that they're in, if that makes any sense. Um, it's a hard thing to do because we can't see our passengers a lot of the time. So you don't get that nonverbal communication. You have to be a good listener. You have to just hear those audio things. And it's not just what they say, but it's also kind of like the sound effects of them in the back seat. Like I can hear them on TikTok maybe or something like that. So you're always trying to pay attention to that. I always watch the way they walk to my car. Where I'm picking them up. If I'm picking them up from work, what their mentality versus driving them to work. Um, Something along those lines. Um, Oh, Mantis, I tell you, man, I'd love to get you as one of my passengers. Oh, Bud, good to see you. All right. Um, Now, why 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 does this matter? I think there's two things that we could take away from these politicians and their politics. They're great communicators and they're a cult of personality to some extent. But I think when it comes to their communication, it's like they're just good listeners. I don't Juggernaut, what's going on? Um, so they didn't flesh this idea out a lot, so I'm hoping that you guys give me some more thoughts. That's what I was hoping for. That's why I went live with this. Mel, what's going on? Um, let's see. Oh, I can say hi, can't I? I don't know how to do that. Click on the thing. All right. I'm working on my live skills. One of the reasons, just a quick segue for a second, why I decided to go live is there's so much AI content out there that it would be better if I went live a little bit more often so that you can see I'm a human. And I think you know that I'm a human, but if I could just go live a little bit more often, you kind of yeah, you can kind of get a vibe of who I am as a personality. You're doing great going live. Well, thanks, Mal. And yeah, you're right. Picking up on cues, John. John, can I call you John? I know you're right upstate, but I know you as John. John, I don't know if you guys know. John and I have met in person, and you should subscribe to his channel, by the way. He's been a podcaster for decades now, right? And so he's really good. That's good. Juggernaut says if you dig into individual campaigns, you'll find which candidates preach and which ones listen. That's a really interesting thing. Let's talk about this for a second here. John made the point that John made the point that they're populists. Mandani and Trump are populists, and that's pretty interesting. Um, uh, Kelsey Jones, how are you? Welcome to this election. I'll give you guys even my personal political thoughts as we kind of get closer to the end. But they're populist. What does a populist mean? They're trying to give people what they want, not what they need. If that makes any sense, right? So um, it's kind of like it's almost like delivering candy to a kid instead of giving them the broccoli. so, uh, so that's maybe a good, metaphor or analogy of a populist. But what makes them a good listener? How do I now? I didn't really watch the New York City mayoral campaign, so I don't really know. I could tell you that I was impressed with his social media content. Both him and Trump make epic social media content, and I can only imagine that our previous governor, Andrew Cuomo, doesn't make really epic content. My car turned off. Hold on. My car turned off, so I turned it back on so the Bluetooth connected. Let me know if you can hear me again. Give me a thumbs up so you can hear me again. Somebody out there, Lisa, Josh, Annan, what's going on? Give me a, can you hear me? All right, good. Thanks, Kelsey. Um, all right, so let's kind of go back to the beginning just because it's a live stream and kind of what my points. And I want to hear your thoughts too, by the way. Um, okay, we can learn from these political campaigns because politics is something that we should discuss because we're Americans. It doesn't have to be controversial. And the way we avoid controversy, especially as Uber drivers, is to be better listeners, not necessarily try to persuade our passengers to vote for whoever we want them to vote for, but instead understand why they voted for Trump or Mamdani or whoever. It doesn't really matter. Um, and we do that through active listening, but not condescending and active listening. This idea of like, oh, so you really voted for Trump, but an idea of like, oh, that's interesting. You voted for Trump. Is it the immigration policies? What excites you about it? And have a sincere desire to learn. You don't have to agree with anybody. You just have to learn. And I think that really, really matters. Oh, the similarities don't go beyond them both being men. They both might listen, but one is a sociopath who listens and finds weakness to exploit, and the other one who listens and respond. That may be true. Um, let's see here. Lisa, yeah, I did great on Halloween. If you haven't seen it, I'd like to your feedback, by the way, in these challenge videos. I don't get as many views on the challenge videos as I'd like. They take a lot of work to plan out, produce, and then actually edit. Go watch those videos and share them with your friends. But give me some feedback on those. And yeah, I don't know, Josh. I don't know if Lisa and I can do a challenge. She would win no matter what. The challenge could be something like how does Levi let the air out of Lisa's car so that way she can't go there and work and I can win. Um, so that was lesson number one, is that it's okay to talk politics as long as your desire is to listen and learn as opposed to push and persuade as an Uber driver. And I think the second thing is this idea of the power of personality, and that having a personality is something that helps us as drivers to engage with our passengers, but by picking up on their cues and being a personality, and that personality could be anything. It doesn't really matter, but you know, just having a personality, not trying to be, um, an the guy that you see on this live stream right now is the guy that you're gonna get in my Uber. And I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but I am who I am to some extent. Um, I don't know. And again, that's why I went live with this. I'm hoping for you guys to give me some more, more thoughts on this here. See here. Da, da, da. Yeah, Lisa, go out there and watch a catering challenge. When you do catering, Lisa, do you have to, whatchamacallit, like actually do the catering, or you just deliver it, right? You don't have to sit there and scoop out the food. John says the Socratic method, asking questions, will lead to good conversation. Yeah, I agree. And it's not just asking questions to passively ask questions. Ask questions with the sincere desire to learn. That's what really matters. Juggernaut says, new to the channel and as a writer and as a driver, I love your authentic, good faith content. Thank you so much. Josh, you'd smoke Lisa. Which Panera am I at? I'm way the heck out in New Hampshire right now. So I'm at the Panera next to the Marshalls in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. There you go. I'm way the heck out there. Levi's the Mr. Rogers. uh, pick up and deliver. Corey, Ernest Hemingway, I'll take that. I'll definitely take that. But he was a lot more shirtless. Have you ever seen like pictures of Ernest Hemingway? Like, I don't think I could go shirtless. I got to lose 30, 40 pounds before I can go shirtless. He looked pretty badass. Okay, let me just know some more of your thoughts on politics down here. Um, is is there a topic that is ever off limits? Maybe a better way to say it. Is there is there a topic that we might avoid all the time as drivers? Because again, there's the idea of like never talk politics, never talk, um, controversial subjects. What are the other controversial subjects out there? I don't know. I'll talk about it all. If my passengers open up the dialogue about any subject, I'm down for it. I am down for it, and it's hard. Um, okay, I'll give you another one that's totally not politics, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I'm an old white guy. Okay. And the stereotype in the world is that Uber drivers, the men, are lecherous. We prey on helpless young college girls. And I'd say half my passengers are college girls, young women in their 20s, 19, whatever. And so I'm very concerned about being a driver perceived that way, if that makes sense. I don't want to be a person, I don't want passengers to get in my car and feel like he's a lecherous old man. That's so conversations though, sometimes with these college students go, I'm blown away by the level of perversion, by the level of vulgarity, by the intensity of the conversations. Um, I'm I get I get tentative by the questions that they ask sometimes because they get very personal, and but I don't shy away from it. I try to navigate the conversation back, if that makes sense. People get in my car are trying to push their ideas on me rather than having a conversation. Oh, I agree. John, you're exactly right. Anybody that gets in your car and tells you Trump is evil or the new mayor is a communist or whatever, they're definitely trying to push their agenda. Okay, I want to know what their agenda is. It's better for me to listen and learn from their agenda than to try to push back. I'm not saying you push back, John. I'm just saying, yeah, no doubt. And I think every conversation is somebody trying to push an agenda. I'm trying to push an agenda on you guys through this live stream. I'm trying to push an agenda of being a better listener and stuff like that. So I'm just using politics as the clickbait hook to have this conversation. Lisa says, I never talk politics. Yeah, that's fair. I understand. It's tough. Josh says he works the college crowds because he likes to protect those women. So many have had bad experiences with other drivers. Yes, there's a very much a parental part to it on my end where I feel not um I feel like there are drivers that are out there that are using Uber as a dating app. Not very many, um, but it does happen. But I'll give you another thing that's really awkward that happens if you drive Uber late at night, 2, 3 in the morning. You have those really awkward situations where a young, mostly girls, but they get in your car and they've had a breakup or something bad has happened. You don't know what, but it's like they're bringing that emotion in with them, and then they ask you questions that are kind of leading to the situation. Um, And so I'd say once a month, somebody will get in, will basically get in and say something like that. Driver Eddie, dude, send me an email. Everybody, this is the best YouTube channel out there, Driver Eddie. He's the best storyteller. I live up in Syracuse, New York, man. That's where I'm at. So, Big Moist, are you drinking one from OEE from that cup, big guy? I don't know what OEE is. I'm drinking coffee. um, But yeah, when people get in your car and they're just upset. I remember I had this one wife wanted to ask me marriage relationship content or advice. Her husband was gaming too much. So yes, right. Eddie's book is epic. I have bought a couple of them, and I handed them out to some friends that are other Uber drivers. Um, there you go. Stop it. You might love that video about 184 rise decline. That was super informative. I'm an economist, man. I love numbers. If I could make a spreadsheet every day, that's what I would do, man. Um, so we're talking about politics, but that's kind of the mechanism to have difficult conversations with our passengers. And I think that we should we should avoid passing judgment. We should avoid trying to persuade our passengers, but instead, when they want to talk about Donald Trump or Mondami or whoever, be a good listener. Have the ability to understand their perspective, and ultimately, that's how you get more tips. Um, so I think the people that get in our car, like what John was saying, and they have an agenda to push, if you let them push their agenda, they're only going to be in my car 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever. Let them go after it. I don't care. You want to vote for Stalin? I don't care. Whatever. I got 20 minutes of my life with you. Why do you love Stalin? I'll give it up. Um yeah, oh, I'd love to do that, John. Maybe I will stop by. I'll have to text you, man. Um, so so driver Eddie, I do want to connect with you. So shoot me an email. Let's connect. Um, now, okay, politics. My thoughts on the election. I think a lot of I don't want to. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I know a lot of you probably joined thinking I was gonna tell you who to believe and all that kind of stuff or who to vote for. I'll give you my thoughts on politics. Oh, okay. What did Kelsey say? She says, as a Black American driving for Uber in Atlanta, I've had some interesting conversations with passengers. I noticed that any there aren't any cameras. Oh, what do you mean by that, Kelsey? I want to know what you mean by that. Driver says, spot on. I've been in Uber as a rider and had the driver sharing his beliefs. I think this dude is bad business. That's no kidding. You know. Okay, well, let me give you one other thought to this. Another example of this, and I'll tell you who I vote for and all that kind of stuff in a second. I'm not trying to hold you on too long here, but okay. I used to have when I first started Uber driving, and I think you probably did the same thing too, right? When you first started Uber driving, you put tissues back there, some mints, a bottle of water, right? If you started doing it, and then I put up an iPad, like an octopus kind of thing or whatever. And so you put up things like there to entertain your passengers, and you think like that's kind of like the objective. What I found is I've been getting more tips now than I ever get by having it literally just black back there. Dude, you are oh man, I know. I'm super old. I'm a grandfather. It's the worst. Um, so the um, why do I keep it black back there? So there's nothing in my backseat area now. Nothing. It's literally just a seat. I have a black floor mat, black leather seats, no iPad, no tissues, no nothing. Because I want my passenger, and I try to wear clothes too that are also kind of like backstage crew a little bit, because I want my passengers to get in the car and feel like that's their space. Like they can project their own things into it, if that makes any sense. And so when they want to talk politics with me, it's the same thing. I'm just like a blank slate. Tell me why you care about Trump or why you don't care about Trump. And by listening to them, you can learn as a person, but also you give them a chance to vent. Well, I believe Uber, the space inside of an Uber is like what I call the fourth space or fourth place. There's this sociologist, Ray Oldenburg, I think is his name. He talked about the three places: your home, your work, and kind of like your community. It could be a bar, it could be your church, your sports, placing out or whatever it might be. Um, But I think there's four places that we spend a lot of time. And the fourth place in my mind is a place where two people don't know each other, but or maybe multiple people don't know each other, but they're sharing an experience. A good example might be a concert, right? You don't know all the people around you, but you're all enjoying the same thing at the same time. And you're never going to see each other again. You're not making friends. That's what an Uber is like. But you guys know what I'm talking about. It's an intimate space. It's a great place to record videos and audio because it's so quiet. We can see the whole world going on around us. This car pulling up next to us. Everything's going on around us, but we're together, just the two or three of us or whoever's in the car, if that makes any sense. And I think people are looking for human connections. Everything in our world is digital. It's not real. And so when they get in a car with a real human that has compassion and empathy and wants to understand where they're at in their life, that's why you can have powerful conversations. So when it comes to politics, people would never go up to the cashier. I'm over here at Panera and say, hey, you should vote for Trump. But it doesn't make any sense. But now, because we're going to spend 20 minutes in this environment, like a little phone booth or a little whatever, and I'm not looking at them. I can only look at the road. I'm looking out this way and they're talking to me. And so I have to be a better listener. It like opens the door to have that human connection. And if I try to project my feelings and my emotions onto them and my beliefs on who they should vote for and stuff like that, that's right. Well, JD Dula, you don't have to talk. You know, if my passenger doesn't talk to me, I don't talk to them back. It's like people are like, I hate when my Uber talks. I agree. When I get in an Uber, a lot of times I just put my earbuds in after I do some occasional greetings and then kind of go along the way. But if the passenger talks to me, I'm not gonna be like, I'm not listening to you. So there's that. I think you're right, Joe. A lot of people are lonely. Kelsey says, and that's why you get $100 tip because they see you have a soul. That's right. That's right. So let's see here. Khalees, is it Khalees? I'm saying that right? I can't. I got my old man glasses on here. Some of my passengers might be surprised to know that, like many people, I have mixed emotions about Trump's policies. There are things to support and things that I don't. Yeah, I'm the same way. Okay. No one's tipping $100. JD does not have a clue, does he? Khalees, there you go. I can see it. Thank you, Khalees. If I say it wrong, just let me know. Okay, now here's my political beliefs and my thing to vote for. And I don't care who you vote for. I really don't. I just don't care. I get a lot of $100 tips. Yeah, I've gotten 120 once. I've gotten $100 cash once. I've gotten $60, $50 tips a lot. So JD just doesn't quite know. Okay, I ran for political office. If you go search for Levi Spires out there on the internet, if you go out and you search for my name, you'll see that I ran as a Republican for the New York State legislature, and I lost. And I lost. What had happened was there was a time when I was in the world of marketing, and it's what happens. The Republican Party found out that I was in the military. I was an entrepreneur. I went to graduate school, studied economics, and they were like, hey, can you run for Congress? Can you imagine? Here I'm an Uber driver, and they're like, can you run for Congress? This is before I was an Uber driver. So I ran for political office. And like every one of us, all of you, I have beliefs. I have things I care about. It doesn't matter what I care about. But I thought if I could just present my ideas in a way that made sense, I could persuade people to vote for me. And so but instead of running for Congress, there was some redistricting going on. So they said, hey, can you run for the New York State legislature, do that for some time, and then get into run for Congress. And so I did, and I lost. But here's what I learned. I would go knock on doors as a politician, and, hey, My name is Levi. Now, the issues in a New York State, upstate New York legislative district were things like dairy milk prices. So, should we do hydrofracking? The big issues of our day, things like abortion, immigration, whatever, those are not issues of a local legislator kind of thing. But let's say there are 10 issues, um, whatever those might be. Like, I wanted teachers to get paid more, would be an example, whatever. To do 10 issues. And I would go and knock on that door. And I'd say, here's the issues that I care about. And we would talk back and forth, one, two, three, all the way to that 10th issue. And then on that 10th issue, the person would go, oh, I disagree with you. I can't vote for you. It's like, and what I learned is there's not a person on the planet, not my wife agrees with me. Nobody agrees with me 100%. We're all individual, unique people, you know. No, so I could tell you what I like about Trump's policies and what I don't like about Trump's policies. I could tell you what I like about Mamdani's policies and what I don't. It doesn't matter, because like we could find areas where we disagree. That at the end of the day, that's what, and I think a lot of times when people want to talk politics, what they're really looking for is for you to agree with them. And so you and I can just find those places. So I ran for a political office. I ran as a Republican. You know, that's my political background. Here's what happened. I did lose. And on my way during that campaign, when I did lose the election, I went to Albany, met with the leadership of the Republican Party in the state of New York, and they were like, "You have to raise $25,000, or we're not going to support your campaign," which is shady. It was totally. What is that? Is that my skin? Look at how pink I am looking. It was just really shady. I found myself really discouraged by politicians being politicians, I guess. How much money I raised. Like, it didn't matter what my issues were, or the things I care about. Like, you think people care. That's not what politics is about. Money. And I was running a campaign based on my ability to not raise money. I wanted to demonstrate a marketing concept to some extent. It's a long story, but um, I was really discouraged by that. I was offended that they wouldn't support me based on the amount of money that I would raise, which is stupid. And I think they ended up supporting the Democrat, finding a way to make sure the Democrat won. And yeah, it was really disheartening, discouraging. And so I'm very cynical about politics. And honestly, I don't care as much as I used to. I just don't. I just don't. Now I vote. I vote. I vote mostly Republican. There are probably times I don't vote for Republicans. I guess I don't really care, um, and I want to care, and I do vote, but I don't think what I say on social media um, was really gonna help. Am I a felon? No. um, I did get a speeding ticket a couple of years ago. So when I got my Tesla, I did that. Uh, Kelsey says, as a mom of eight, I'm used to putting others first. Yep, with my husband through a tough time right now. Driving for Uber has been a blessing. It's not about getting from point A to point B. Yeah, that's so much wisdom in there. That is so true. It's about connecting with people, listening to their stories. I believe in the power of kindness and miracles. People just want to be heard, and sometimes it takes someone to listen. Man, that's so wise. And I think I don't really want politics to be a defining characteristic of me. I want my faith, my love for Jesus Christ and the people that are around me to be the defining characteristic. And I think that's what matters most to me. So whether Trump wins or Mamdani wins, I don't really care. It's fun to watch. And it's interesting if people want to have economic discussions. I love to have those economic discussions. And I really appreciate like that kind of discussion. I would love to put together a spreadsheet on, what's the importance of a Trump immigration policy to the Uber driver world. I don't know. I would assume that if illegal immigrants are being, kicked out of the country, that it would make things better for Uber drivers. But I think also it does suck to see people being kicked out of the country, because This is an amazing place to be, and I want people to be here. So it's like I'm torn, just like everybody else. There's pros and cons to every policy. There's there's no winners in every policy has winners and losers. So no matter which side you take, you're gonna. So I think you, as an Uber driver, and me as an Uber driver, just be good listeners and learners, and that works in your personal life. It also works amazingly well as an Uber driver. If you can just listen to people and understand their perspective, um, have kindness, compassion, empathy, um, that is the best. Um, that's what I shoot for. So I know it's a little bit of clickbaity with the live stream to say we're going to talk politics. I don't care who you vote for. I don't care. I, I think it's cool that that guy won in New York City as a mayor, because there's a part of me as an economist. It's like, let's see how it plays out. You know, there's a part of me that's like, maybe he's right. I don't know. I don't think, socialism's the right way to go, but I don't care. It's not my city. I even live in the state, and it's going to screw up my state. I don't care. God's got a bigger plan. I don't really care. uh, yeah, it's a. I've had passengers open up about their struggles. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're using um, politics as the mechanism for the not the mechanism, but the tool to have this conversation today. Um, Thornton, good morning. Good to see you. Um, but it's not. It's just having difficult conversations and being and understanding that you and I, as Uber drivers, we are in a position to really facilitate that. It doesn't mean I have to. I mean, I'd say 1 out of 20 of my passengers, have some sort of meaningful conversation. I think most of the time we talk about the weather. Most of the time, I think most of my passengers don't even talk. So I'd say half my passengers don't talk. Of the half that do talk, just a handful, we have meaningful conversations, but we are the facilitators of that. And 99 out of 100 times we've had a meaningful conversations, you get a tip. So if it's a financial thing to you, being a good listener is going to get you more tips. And so I'd say, I shouldn't say I know 44% of my passengers tip me. That's a big number. And I read all throughout, you know, our Facebook groups and Reddit threads, and I see on my channel that nobody tips, and I'm thinking to myself like, well, what are you doing to earn a tip? And if you have a clean car, okay, that's table stakes. Everybody has a clean car, at least the ones that get tips. You know, but are you really listening? Do you have an empathetic ear to the needs of your passenger? And by the way, it doesn't have to be a meaningful conversation. Having Putting yourself in the perspective of the person sitting back there will help you get tips for a lot of things. Like, if you and you probably do this already really well, if they're business travelers, just say like, hey, do you need to jump on some calls? You know, um, and stuff like that. By the way, do you know, uh, Kelsey, or yeah, Khalees, I'm gonna missay it a million times. Sorry. Once we meet face to face one day in life, I'll say your name correctly. Sorry, but Khalees, my family lives just south of you, down just south of Macon in Warner Robins, Georgia. There's a big Buc-ee's my parents live right next to, right there on the thing. Jesse says, being a good listener isn't always worth it. People use Uber as a confessional and tell me weird stuff. Yeah, yeah, it is. And we say weird stuff. I know what you mean, but I think it's also they're just trying to tell somebody something, and it's like they know they're never going to see us again. So in their mind, they're just like, "Hey, oh, there you go. John has a family in Macon. There you go. All right." So that's politics. Did you guys want to come on? I haven't seen too many more comments from you guys about that. I learned from all that weird stuff. Yeah, I learned what not to do. you know, oh my gosh. Yeah, you learn right away as an Uber driver, if you drive really late at night, don't do a lot of drinking. Don't do a lot of drugs. Oh, oh wow, there you go. Donated. Misleading. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Nice. All right, Khalees. Now, Khalees, you're out there on TikTok, right? I think I connected with you on TikTok. I don't know. I can't. I can see a little bit of your picture. Oh my gosh, I'm so old. I'm looking on my phone. That's what old guys look like looking at their phone. I can't see your picture. There's a woman that I just started following on TikTok, and I think it's you. Um, that has been just really inspirational to me as far as her content from Uber driving standpoint. She wears red glasses, and I can't see. I see red lipstick. Yes, I'm on TikTok. That is you. Is it you with the red glasses? Come on. And then you just, oh, oh yeah, I think that is you. Yes, I hope so. Send me an email. I want to connect with you. I sent you a DM and you didn't respond. Admin at tipyouintheapp.com. Let's see here. How to deal with passengers eating in the car when eventually spill and get away. How to confront, how to warn them, not to tell. All right, here's the thing. Rashid, you're going to hate this answer. You want to know my thoughts on my passengers eating in my car? Go for it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I would rather that my passengers didn't do it. I don't like the smell of it. I don't like when they leave greasy fingers or whatever in my car. But you know what? I'm down for it. You know what? What am I going to win? An argument with them about that. I've been rear-ended twice this year in avoidable situations. Should I be concerned about being deactivated permanently? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. As long as they ask, just don't leave greasy fingers. Yeah, I think that's what happens when people eat in my car. Okay, here's typically how it goes down. It's like, oh, you guys have pizza? Oh, that smells really good. What type of pizza do you have? Hey, can you do me a favor? I got a couple of napkins here. Please don't make a mess. And then, of course, the reason why my channel is named what it is, they'll be like, I'll leave you a big tip. I'll tip you in the app. And they probably don't. But as long as they ask, I'm pretty much down for it. I think there are times. Did you watch my latest video? Watch my latest video, the competition video. You can see angry Levi, angry eyes. a pass. These guys got in my car on Halloween night, and then I noticed my trunk was open, and these college girls were trying to climb into the trunk of my car, and I got so angry. Yep. So that's what they were doing. They were getting there. These college girls were climbing in the trunk of my car, and I was like, "Fuck it, fuck it, fuck it." I was like, I was cursing. I got a fucking mortgage to pay. Da, 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 da. Oh my gosh, that got me so angry. And because there were cops pulling people over, and I don't want to lose my job over that. And those young men did apologize. Of course, they didn't tip me, but whatever, it's fine. They're asking for full admin rights to the car, add and remove drivers. I'm not sure what that means. See here. Yes, yes, you said don't touch that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Because I make videos with my dash cam footage, I am definitely ashamed of the way I talk when nobody's in the car. I'm like driving. Come on, let's go. Now I don't give anybody the bird. I'm not much of a speeding kind of driver, but I've done, I do 70,000 miles a year on my car. I definitely have like I definitely have a way that I want people to drive around me. Like, oh, you could have made that light. Come on, rah, 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 rah. And so I curse. Yeah, it's really embarrassing. Related to the Tesla Connect, Uber is asking for full admin rights to the Tesla. Um, yeah, I know a lot of people don't want to do that, but I think it really helps. I don't have that. I assume you're using an Android, because it can't connect to your Apple device. If you have an Android, you can do that. What that should do is prevent Uber from giving you rides that exceed your battery capacity. Khalees says, you handled that well. Thank you so much. Have you ever been in a collision while doing a ride? No. But I have had, oh, you have an iPhone, huh? I've not had a collision when I've been doing Uber, but I did get a flat one time. So yeah, there's that. Have I ever had to kick people out? Have I ever kicked anybody out? Um, I don't think so. I've never kicked anybody out. Here's what happens. Honestly, I will I will cancel. Um, if I think I don't kick them out. Once they're in the car, I'm committed to the gig. I try to avoid letting people in my car when I think it's gonna go down bad. So that's how I handle it. Uh, Khalees, yeah. So there you go. Oh, there you go. Lisa. Oh, Lisa, what happened when you got in a wreck? So you can connect your iPhone to your Tesla. I would do it. I haven't been able to set that up. So that would be amazing because I don't want Uber to give me rides I can't drive when it exceeds my battery capacity. Thank you for joining, Lisa. Thank you so much. Khalees, send me an email, admin@tippyouintheapp.com. I want to chat with you. Your TikTok has been inspirational to me, and I super appreciate it. I mean, I really do, more than you know. Um, Politics. Any more thoughts on politics? How about this live stream? Do you guys like this? Does it say I have 4 members? I don't know. It just says you join. um, Lisa, you've been like my biggest fan. I got to find a way. Everybody go support Lisa's channel. She's really good about this stuff. Let's see here. What protection measures do you use? Like pepper spray, something extreme solutions when things get ugly? Rashid, I have never, ever felt the need to handle things when it gets ugly. Again, the way I handle it is before they get in the car. There are dangerous apartment complexes that after 10 in the morning, I don't pick up at because I know that there are gang members at those apartment complexes. And if you're an Uber driver in Syracuse, Binghamton, you know what I'm talking about. Those are just places. There's just trouble. So I just don't go to those places. And if I feel like it's going to be trouble, I just cancel. There you go. Let's see here. Trump is a clown. Yeah, he definitely is. Let's see here. Will says, I like when you do post every day. I like this life even better. Oh, you like this live better? Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna start a channel one day soon. Hey, broke ass Uber driver, do it now. Do it now. Don't wait to start a channel. Just do it, and I'll subscribe. The minute you start a channel, I'll subscribe. I'm cheering for you, man. Do it. What do you do health wise? I've been driving for Uber. I've gained like 80 pounds in a year sitting in the car for 12 hours a day. Dude, well, it is rough. It is super rough. What do I do for health? Like you, I'm up around 190 something right now, and I need to be like more like 160. So I've put on probably 15 pounds, 20 pounds over the last 5 years as an Uber driver. So I don't have the best advice, but the things that I think about is my wife packs me food. When I travel or when I go Uber drive for 12 hours, my wife gives me packs a meal for me, and it's always kind of healthy stuff like an apple and nuts and stuff like that. Another thing is I avoid gas stations by joining Panera. Panera has these unlimited drinks subscriptions, and so the I just go in there and get coffee. So it prevents me from going into the gas station, because if I go into the gas station, it's death. I'm picking up some Mike and Ike's. I'm getting gas station food and stuff like that. Another thing I do that helps me health-wise is I joined Planet Fitness. Now, if you're not from upstate New York, it's not you. I typically don't just drive in Syracuse. I drive in Ithaca. I drive in Binghamton. I go up to Oswego. These are places like an hour, hour and a half away from my house. So I go ahead and put things all the way. I joined Planet Fitness as a way to go in and go for a walk, because sometimes it's like snowing sideways and so I can't walk outside and stuff like that. The other thing that I do is I stretch my hips out a lot. As a person that sits all the time, I get out of my car, do like deep squats. I do stuff like that. Try to do jumping jacks. You know what I should do? How about I make a fitness video? You see the headband? I'm gonna do that. I'll do a weight loss challenge. How about that? I'll do a weight loss challenge and do a fitness thing, kind of a long-term thing. How's that sound? Can I pet that dog? Are you talking about the beard? Yeah, you can pet it. Just don't tell my wife. Just messing. Oh, nice. Let's see here. Let's see here. I think you should do more challenges, more people in different states on your channel. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I don't have a camera. Where did you get your camera from? All right, Khalees, I have a new brand sponsorship. I'm ironing out the details. Red Tiger is now where I'm going to be getting my cameras from. So support them. I'll let them know that I just shouted them out in this thing. So there's that. Hip yoga changed my life. You bet. Yes, sir. Hey, driver Eddie, don't you have a relationship with Red Tiger too? I do also. And so we should talk about that. Admin at tippyouintheapp.com. You guys can always email me. Do you have a video that talks about the advantages of different tiers of Uber? I do, but it's really old. I'll tell you right now the advantages of the different tiers of Uber driving. The only reason that I can see to be a diamond driver is for diamond support. And it just doesn't work as what it used to be. It used to be great. I used to be able to call, yeah, the F-17 Elite. Yeah, that's what they're going to send me to, Drive Eddie. So I see, I call you Driver Eddie because that's why I know you instead of just Eddie. How stupid is that? Yeah, Eric's advice, eat 2 meals a day, a 6-hour eating window, and don't eat processed food. Yeah, that's super wise. That's the way to do it. By the way, if you guys don't know, Eric is really good on the private ride business. Sometimes he engages in the channel. I'll try to get more of his advice on the channel. I agree with his idea that if you can do private rides, that's the real money maker. The reason why I don't do it is for a myriad of reasons, but I'm not going to get into it. It's too much here. I do absolutely love the F-17 Elite. Fantastic. You got 52 people in the house. Yeah, I do. That's nice. Do I do Lyft? Yes. Um, I would do more Lyft if they actually gave me more rides. There are times when I turn Lyft on and like I don't get a ride. It's so weird. Mario, what's up? California, nice. So here's the funny thing. I'll turn Uber on and Lyft on, and I'll get some Uber rides, start taking them. I'll forget that Lyft is even on. And I remember like 3, 4 weeks ago, I had a passenger in the car, and my car starts making all this beeping noise. I'm like, what is that noise? It had been like an hour, and out of the blue, Lyft decided to give me a ride. And I just forgot that the app is on. I love the Lyft app, and I love what David is doing with the Lyft app. I wish we got paid more, and I wish we got more rides like everybody, but I do use Lyft as a fallback. Every now and then, if they have a really big promotion, I'll try to do it, but I've never been able to complete their promotions. You know, do 20 rides on the weekend and earn 20 bucks, and I'll never do that. 6'7". Jalea has must have a teenager. There you go. I wish we could see the passenger on Uber. Oh, you mean like the picture of the passenger? Yeah, that is a kind of a neat feature of Lyft. Oh my gosh, 6'7". That's so funny. That's so good. Who is my worst customer? Do you guys want to hear? I'm gonna give you 2 worst customers. If you've been on the channel, you probably heard these stories before. But I'll definitely share it again just because you're asking. My first worst passenger. It was crazy. It was crazy. This is like one where I should have kicked the passenger out of the car, but I didn't have any way to do it. Oh, um, okay. So I pick up this guy at a hotel. And I have to take him on an hour-long Uber drive. It's like sunsetting, and it's gonna be all highway. When he gets in the car, he's fine. He's about my age, but he's really fit. And he's like an MMA fighter, I found out. And he gets in the car, and we immediately get on the highway, on the interstate, doing like 70 miles an hour. It's starting to get dark. He starts telling me what happened. He went up to this town, Cortland, to and I'm taking him to Binghamton. It's about an hour away. It doesn't really matter, I guess. But he said that he got arrested that morning. Now this is sunset. He's been in jail in a holding cell for like 12 hours. Like, well, what happened? He goes, well, they pulled me over because they found something in my car. And you know, that when people get arrested, they start telling you the story that you're not really sure they're telling you the full truth, you know? But whatever. Um, but he's kind of crazy. And he starts like cursing about this cop. It's a female. He starts saying really vulgar things about females. You know, like beep this and beep that, and he starts getting kind of like really mad. He starts saying like, and why are they even letting women be cops? women should be in the kitchen, da da da. And I was like, all right, well, I'm not down for that, right? So he starts saying all these really horrible things. And then he starts grabbing the back seat or my passenger seat and starts shaking it. Fucker, fucker, fucker. He starts getting irate. He starts getting crazy mad. He's like, rah, 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 just going crazy mad. He starts punching it. Beep. He's just getting crazy. And so, okay. And then he starts saying like, Putin, come on, Putin, drop the bomb. I'm ready for war. Let's do this. He's out of his mind. And then I know I was right. What? Okay. Now I would have kicked out an old man who put the wrong destination in it. Okay. But so here's what happens. Now here's my mindset. Okay. One, kick him out of the car, right? I mean, he's a jerk, whatever. But I don't think he's down for me kicking him out of the car, especially on the interstate in the middle of nowhere. We're out in farm country, right? We're in the middle of nowhere. And I was like, oh my God, that was crazy. The second thing I could do is maybe hit the safety thing, you know, and maybe like, maybe call the cops, come get him. I felt unsafe, but he already got pulled over by the cops. He hates the cops. He would just battle it out with the cops, and I'm in the car doing something. The third option was maybe just get out and run. But he would chase me down. I'm like this fat old man, and he's like this MMA fighter. He would have gotten my car and killed me, or something. So my fourth option, being a good listener, um, I was like, yeah, man, women, I hate them. I just didn't want to die. I was scared out of my mind, and I didn't have any way. I didn't know how to handle it. I'd be like, yeah, women, they're the worst. Now, of course, I don't feel that way. And then when I got to this place to drop me off, oh my gosh, we got to his house or wherever it was, he said, "Oh, I didn't even realize this is a Tesla." The man had been in my car for an hour. He was out of his mind, and I was like, "Oh my God, just please don't die." All right, second worst passenger. I'll give you one. um, I had just gotten my Prius. I got a Prius, and this is 2022. It's January, New York, upstate New York. So it's snowing, blizzard, sideways. It's like horrible. And it was just the worst weather. And it's like 2 in the morning. I'm down in Armory Square. It's kind of like the bar scene. And all the bars are let out. So there's like a million drunks on the street. And the cops are trying to get all the cars to kind of move through and everything like that. But I'm double parked trying to get my passenger. And I finally call her, and she finally answers. And I'm like, hey, it's Levi Uber. I'm right, and I can hear her talking outside of my car. So I know she's really next to me. I'm like, I'm right here. I'm flashing my lights. And she's like 20 feet away from me. So her friends say this question. And this is the thing. Now that I'm a better Uber driver, I know. Her friends ask her, are you going to be okay? No. No. The minute you have to wonder if the passenger or their friends are going to be okay, they're never okay. They're never okay. So what happened, she still gets in the car. She sits right behind me, right? Yeah. And so she sits right behind me. And we have to go like 10 minutes from the Syracuse downtown to the Syracuse campus. Not very far at all. And but it's snowing. It's like actually negative, like, I don't know, -20. It's like super cold. It's horrible weather. And so we start to drive, and I immediately hear her roll down the window. And I'm like, what are you doing? It's so cold outside. She goes, I just need fresh air. I'm like, are you sick? Are you gonna throw up? And she's like, I think I'm gonna throw up. I'm like, oh God. Okay. I don't, because she's right behind me now, And so, but she's right behind me. She's right behind me. I can't like see her behind me. And so I'm like, oh God, no. So I pull over, and I say, get out. Let me help you throw up. And she opens the door and leans out the car with her arms, one hand on the door, one hand. She's laying down on the back seat, laying across with her face to the pavement, and she starts vomiting on the street. Not in my car, thank God. Not in my car. But it gets worse. I'm like, and so she's just laying there, and they're crying. Always the vomiters are always crying, especially college girls. I never drink this much. It's okay. And she's like, I got to throw up some more. Can you hold my hair? Now, the rules are we're not supposed to touch the passengers or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not worried about, being accused of whatever. I got cameras and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I'm holding her hair, standing really far away from her. like, I'm like, I'm like leaning in, grabbing the back of her hair, and she's like, bleh, bleh, just like her intestines are coming out. It just felt so bad for this girl because I don't want the splash to get on me, right? Now it's freezing. It's like negative whatever, right? Outside. It's so cold. And uh, so it's like I'm basically like shaking. The adrenaline of her throwing up, right? There's the adrenaline of the moment, but there's also it's just so cold. I'm just like shaking. And she's finally done. She looks at me with this pathetic look. She's got hair kind of stuck to the side of her face and the vomit and all that kind of stuff. She's like, okay, I think I can go now. Okay, let's do it. So we drive. We drive. We drive maybe a block. I hear the window go down again. Like, what are you doing? But I can't pull over at this spot. I can't pull over. So she leans her head out the window. You can always hear the drunks. They're like, they're hitting their head on the window when they're really drunk, right? So she rolls the window down. She leans her head. She vomits all down the side of my car, the outside, not the inside. It was horrible, Lisa. Khalees, it was horrible. It was like red, sugary, whatever, and it had that acidic smell to it and everything. It was just gross. But here's the horrible thing. It was 2 in the morning. Now I'm working on a bonus. This is back in 2022 when we get like $300 bonuses for the weekend or stuff like that. I had to do 2 more rides. She was ride number 1. Ride number 2 would have completed my bonus. Let me tell you something. I did not complete that bonus. And the worst part about it was I couldn't clean my car. I had red sugary vomit on my car because you know what? It's negative 20 whatever outside. There's no, it's not that I ran out of time. It's just that you can't wash a car. There's no car wash open in the middle of the night. You can't run a hose. You can't. I tried to like do a water bottle. I went to a gas station and bought a water, and it was just froze to the side of my car. It was so cold. It was like instantly freezing. It was the worst. And then of course, oh my God, it was so. Oh my gosh, it was so crazy. So we get to the place, and I given her a towel, one of my cleaning towels or whatever, and she tried to hand the towel back to me. I'm like, no, 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 that's yours. And she's like, I'll tip you. And she didn't tip me. Well, she did. No, I think she did tip me like $5 or something like that. But I watched her. Now here's the thing. Maybe it's just that being a nice guy kind of mentality. I watched her walk all the way into that dorm. You know why? Because she would die. If she'd have fell into a snowbank, it'd have been over. You know what I mean? Like, people die in upstate New York in the winter. So there's that. Hey, there he is, Tristan. Oh my gosh. Tristan is one of my favorite YouTubers, everybody, future rideshare millionaire. He gives some of the best financial advice out there when it comes to, when it comes to just anything in particular, but just when it comes to rideshare. Love his content. So, oh my gosh, oh, there you go. Oh my gosh, there another Kathleen. There you go. Yeah, Khalees knows Tristan. That's good. Yeah, he's a great content creator. He's got to create more content, but he's got busy things keeping him busy. Make more stuff, Tristan. Yeah. So there you go. Um, Bog said, "Hey, man, I should do more lives. I've done like probably 10 live videos in the 3 years this channel's been around. What other things can I do to make this live even better?" Hey, I'm trying to thank you. You bet, Tristan. Always good stuff. So I'll bring it back to again. The conversation was politics, and should we talk politics? And just a reminder, everybody's kind of coming in late to the live. Is I think we are a nation where we should talk politics because that's how we become an educated populace, and I don't think we should shy away from it. But as Uber drivers, I think we should be good listeners. Instead of trying to persuade somebody that I'm right, that you should vote for whoever I want you to vote for, I think the better thing to do is to just understand why people want you to vote for whoever they vote for. Blue Escape says, going live is great. Been watching your channel for a while. You give good advice, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Um, yeah, I think that it really matters for us to do that. Hey man, I love your videos. You're my favorite gay streamer. Thanks for all that. I get a lot of that. Um, I think there's, I'm not gay. Happily married for 20 some odd years, 27 years, but, and children to prove it, I guess. But I think it's a funny thing that, that's how guys tease each other. So I don't know if I'm getting teased, or B, maybe there's like a secret cult of gay men that think I'm kind of, let me set the record straight. That's right. Oh my gosh. Um, but I think when it comes to any topic, that's a great topic. Here you go. I'm a Christian man. I think, I have beliefs about being gay and stuff like that. But when people of transgender nature get in my car, or gay or whatever, I don't try to persuade them. If they want to, I had this one gay couple. Oh my God, you want to hear a funny story? This is back. Um, this was back when the election was going on in 2020, right? I was Uber driving, and this gay couple, two guys, get in my car, and I think they were married or they were dating. I can't remember. And they were arguing about politics. I forgot about this. Oh my God, that's right. Okay, so crazy. It was so funny, you know. Like one guy was definitely voting for Biden, and one guy was actually voting for Trump, and they're a gay couple, and just the way they were fighting about it was so funny. Remember that show from In Living Color, Two Snaps Up in a Circle? That's kind of how it went. They were in the flamboyant gay world, not the kind of secret behind the closet kind of gay world. And but they were really into that political conversation, and they try to drag me into it. Now, okay, I'll drag me into that conversation. I'm down for it, but I'm still not gonna try to persuade you who to vote for. Um, I'm gonna. Why are you voting for Trump? Why do you disagree with your boyfriend or your husband or whatever? You try to understand that type of thing. Let's see here. Yeah, Bug. It was odd. You bet. Great show, no doubt. They didn't make it 100%. Let's see here. Hi. You only do Uber? Pretty much. Um, I do a little bit of Lyft. I do have a DoorDash account, and that's a secret undercover project. For those of you who are still in the chat, more to come on that. That's a little top secret kind of stuff. I think I'm gonna let the members, if you're really interested in that. Um, yeah, yeah, I know, right? Little undercover stuff. I don't like. Okay, why do I do Uber drive? Okay, I get this question all the time. I'm not rich. No, I need to work to make money, and I should be making more money in my life. I'm at the age where I need to be making a lot of money, and I don't as an Uber driver. So the question is why? Why do it? Um, okay, why do I Uber drive instead of being an accountant, being an executive, or whatever I used to do in my previous life? I love the people that I meet, the stories. I think this is where God intended me to be. Sorry. I forgot to put my phone on focus here. Do not disturb. There you go. There you go. Sorry, I got some things here. So why do Uber? I got to do it to make money, so I have to do it for a living. But I think this is where we can connect with people. And I do YouTube. That's true. I do make money as a YouTuber to some extent. But I live off of my Uber money, and I think I could be. I think I've published this many times. I've told you guys many times. I can win the lottery. I'm still going to be an Uber driver. So that's why I don't do other things. I'm Shipt, Amazon Flex, or whatever it's called, the Walmart Spark. I don't do any of those, not because they're good or bad money. They probably make more money. I really just love meeting new people. Eric's right. I love private clients because they become family. That's a good thing. I'm not going to disagree with that. But I love the random nature of the day. I don't know who I'm going to pick up. And I don't know whose lives are going to influence mine, or I'm going to be able to maybe even potentially be a positive influence on their life. So if I did DoorDash, I've done Uber Eats before. The problem is like when I do Uber Eats, I don't see anybody. I'm just in my car by myself. Well, I can do anything. If I'm going to do that job, I'm just going to go back and go work and be an accountant. I don't. Again, and same with private clients. The problem with private clients, in my opinion, is I stop the randomness of the stories. Um, that's that's what I do. So I like Uber Eats. I think it's a little fun. I think DoorDash could be kind of fun. Little behind the scenes secret going on there. But yeah, DoorDash sucks in our market. A little. Come on, Lisa. You're a member. If you join the channel in the next month or so, I'm gonna release my latest project with DoorDash. You're gonna like it. I've been able to get away with driver a few times. No more of that for me. Yeah, it's being an Uber driver is not for everybody. There's some really crappy parts to it. I think if you are an introvert, if you don't like people, if you don't like driving a car, if you don't like getting low wages, don't do Uber. But if you like people, uh, I do. I love meeting new people. That's what it comes down to. Let's see here. I've been able to get away with joke. Okay, so we had to move through it. I'll show I'll show you driving a car for low wages. That's basically what Uber is. It's when I first started driving for Uber, it was easy for me to do $2,500 to $3,000 a week. Isn't that crazy? Now I'm happy with 1,500. That's so how crazy it is. Yeah, see, that's right. That's a good point. Private clients give you the weight of obligation. Um, just turning the app on and off. You can make more money. I'll never dispute that there's more money in private clients. No doubt about it. But it's that weight of obligation. I've had some private clients, basically friends, right? And and they're like, hey, can you, like, I had a guy like 3 weeks ago call me. Maybe it was 3 days ago. I can't remember. He wanted me to pick him up 1 November, right after Halloween. Now I've been doing the Halloween challenge, right? And I'm like, I couldn't imagine like people calling me trying to coordinate schedule. The best part about Uber driving is just doing that. Ty Thomas, you post great content for the gig workspace. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Here, I did post. I did post my DoorDash sent me my Discord in the garbage channel. Okay. Let's see here. Wait, let's see here. My partner, driver, drove a murder spectre to Tijuana border. He had blood all over him. That's that's pretty crazy, Eric. Oh my god, that's so much better of a story than mine. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna do more lives. I've got to do more live stuff. I only do like the live stuff when I'm like, oh, I gotta make more videos, and I'm like stuck away from my house and stuff like that. Let me wrap this project. Please put your final thoughts here, and I'll shout them out. Um, when it comes to politics, don't be discouraged or avoid politics. Um, in the sense of avoid trying to persuade people, but be a good listener. And it doesn't have to be politics. It can be any subject. It can be controversial. It could be whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Be a good listener. Understand that the passenger just wants to communicate with you, wants to connect. And so when they are talkative, great. That's great. Just listen to them. And then facilitate that conversation. Don't try to shift the conversation to what you want to talk about or anything else like that. And so if they want to tell you Trump is the spawn of the devil or Adani is going to ruin New York City or whatever, okay. Okay. I'm down for that. Tell me why. Just listen. And having that empathy, whether it's politics, could be any subject, whatever it is going to improve your life because you're no longer stressed about trying to be right. And you're going to have better relationships with not only your Uber passengers, but with people around you. But if you're an Uber driver, you're probably going to get better tips. There's that. Hey, boy, there's 42 on here. I don't want to turn it off with 42 people on, but I'm going to have to. Please, everybody, I like to say this a lot, but I'm trying to be as sincere as possible. I want you to be safe. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be happy. I want you to enjoy your life. I really, truly do. I want you to make as much money as possible, but I really want you to enjoy the ride. I really do. I want you to enjoy it. So if you don't like Uber driving, don't do it. You're probably somebody who's capable of doing amazing things. You're probably capable of being a movie star or writing the next great American novel or running a private business like Eric does. Thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate it. You're capable of doing anything. Don't feel stuck in this gig. But if you are in this gig, maximize it and measure your money. Don't do it and go broke doing it. But there are other things about it that should bring joy to you, and that's what it is for me. So I'll try to do more live streams. Buenos, I appreciate it. Everybody, please. Yeah, it's not about the journey. It's about traveler. You bet. Uber equals suck duck. It sure does. Suck. It can be. And of course, you guys know this. I'm cheering for you. You have my email, admin@tipyouintheapp.com. I'm trying to respond to all the comments. I can't make a video about every subject, but I'm trying, and I really, really, truly am cheering for you. Be well. Bye, everybody. Now, how